Hello traders, it's a new week. Welcome to our weekly top-down analysis. So let us begin. Let us try to see if we can get some setups for the week ahead. So we are going to start analyzing VIX 101S. So let us begin. And we always begin our analysis. If you've been following this series, you have noticed that we always begin our analysis on the weekly time frame. So let us start by analyzing VIX 101S. We always start on the weekly time frame where we mark our supply and demand zones. So that is our supply zone. That is the supply zone. We have our supply, and then we have our demand zone down there. That is the demand zone. That is our demand zone. Price is moving from our supply headed to our demand, however, price is not yet there. Price is not yet there. So that is all on the weekly time frame. You can be able to see that price is moving from supply to the demand. However, it looks like this support is holding the price from coming to our demand zone. So our bias for VIX 100 from the weekly time frame is bullish. Our bias is bullish. So you have to place buys on VIX 101S. So if we go to our daily time frame, so from the daily we can be able to see that this is the support that is holding price from getting to that is the support holding price from getting to our demand zone in the weekly time frame. So that is our support. And then we have our resistance. That is the resistance. So that is the resistance. So that is the resistance. As you can see, price has broken new highs. So this is an indication to me that we are indeed bullish. We are moving up. So now we are moving up. You just have to be careful when price gets at this resistance. You have to see if it gives you a break of structure or it reverses and then push the price back down. But right now, it looks like price has broken a new high. So that is an indication that we are still pretty much pushing upwards. We are still pushing upwards. We are pushing upwards, and that is a break of structure. So that is our break of structure. That is our break of structure. And from the daily, let us see That is the order block. That is where price is currently price is reacting from our order block. Price is currently reacting from our order block from the daily time frame. From the daily time frame. That is all on the daily. Let us go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour and be able to adjust our order block to the 4 hour time frame. So from the 4 hour time frame, that is our order block where price is currently reacting. Price is reacting at our order block, and we are able to see a bullish engulfing that is forming. That is an indication that price it's about to continue moving upwards. And then if we go to our 1 hour time frame, if we go to our 1 hour time frame, our 1 hour time frame, that is the order block where price where price is where price is currently where price is currently reacting. All these break of structures that price forms, that price has formed up there, this is what I call inducement. These are just inducement levels. These are inducement levels because price has not mitigated our main order block, which is this one. So order blocks, whatever order blocks or origins that price creates up there, that is just liquidity that price has worked, that has stepped into our order block there where price is currently reacting right there. So right there, that is just all these order blocks that price has created. As long as price did not mitigate this order block, all these origins, these order blocks that price created here, this is what I call liquidity or inducement that price has swept to come and tap into our order block here. And it looks like this retracement move to the downside. It is over because if you check, if you study the recent price action, you can be able to see this was the last break of structure to the downside. That is the last break of structure to the downside. That one. That is the last break of structure to the downside. And then this is a lower low. Lower high price was supposed to maintain that high. It was supposed to create a structure here and then continue moving down. However, because it decided to break that high, that means this impulsive move to the downside is pretty much over. This is a change of character. It's indicating that price is reversing to the upside. Price is reversing to the upside. That is a change of character. And when a change of character happens, price will always come back to the origin which caused that change of character, which is that candle there. Which is that order block there where price is currently reacting. Where price is currently reacting. So if you are to place a trade here on VIX 100, it is an instant execution. instant execution, place a trade on VIX 100, and then your stop loss will be slightly below this order block, and then you take profit at that high. So because price has mitigated our order block, and from the behavior of VIX 100, it always likes to come back at this order block. It has stepped in, it might go and still come back, and still come back to this order block. So yes, you can enter a trade, an instant execution on the VIX 100 1S, VIX 100 1S, VIX 100 1S. This is your stop loss. So that is your stop loss. Stop loss is at that level. This is the stop loss. And then this is the entry point. Entry point is right there. That is the entry point. That is the entry point, and then our take profit at that high. Our take profit is going to be at that high. So instant execution on VIX 100, because this impulsive move has ended, because we have changed the character, price has reversed. And it's looking like it's still coming back into this order block. So we can place an instant execution on VIX 100, and we are waiting for price to push up because the bias is bullish. So that is it. That is where we stop our analysis on VIX 100. And then by the time you see this video, probably the trade would have played out. You can still catch another entry when price breaks that high, because when price breaks a high, to always come back to the order block, which caused the break of structure. So if you miss this first entry, this order block, you can always wait for another entry when price breaks a new high, should that happen. But as of right now, it's an instant execution. You can place a trade on VIX 100 with your stop loss just below the order block. Your entry price is there, and then your take profit is there. So that is all on VIX 100 1S, and it's looking like price is still coming back into this order block before it might continue up. So that's all. Let's move to volatility 100. So from the weekly time frame, we can be able to mark our supply and demand zone. So that is our supply zone. That is our supply zone. Supply zone, and then down here we have, down there we have our demand zone. Down there we have down there, that is our demand zone. So from the weekly time frame, our bias is bullish. So from the weekly time frame, it looks like we have formed a bearish engulfing. It looks like price is still coming back to this demand zone, but I will not change bias until price breaks this demand zone. Until price breaks the demand zone, our bias is still bullish. As long as price is above this demand zone, then we are still bullish. I will only change my bias when price breaks this demand zone. So to me, I'm seeing this as just a retracement. So the bias is pretty much still bullish. We are still bullish on volatility. I'm still anticipating for price to go back there. Looking at how price has behaved in the past, whenever price gets to to this demand zone, it buys. To get to this demand zone, it buys. So for me, the bias is bullish until price decides to break this demand zone. That's when I will change my bias from buying to selling. But that has not happened, so our bias is still bullish. If you go to our daily time frame, from our daily time frame, from our daily time frame, it looks like this is the resistance that is holding price. That is holding price. That resistance. That is the resistance that is holding price. That is the resistance. That is the resistance that is holding price from pushing to the upside. But because price is pushing to the downside, we are just going to wait for it at this demand zone. We're going to see what will happen, whether price will reverse and continue pushing to the upside, or to break this demand and continue pushing down. But until that happens, the bias is it's still bullish. Until price decides to break this demand zone, then our bias will change. Then our bias will change. So from the 4-hour time frame, there's pretty much no entry at the moment. Because the price has already moved, it's halfway. There's no way you can place an entry. For me, how I trade this is if I miss the entry, the price has moved, it's already halfway, and the take profit is probably somewhere around at this support level. So I'm just going to leave the trade to play out until price gets at this support. That's when I'm going to make the decision, because I'm already left behind. The trade is already halfway to the TP. It's already halfway. It is already halfway to TP, and this is quite an impulsive move. Price is not even giving us opportunities to enter the market, because it just decided to drop. So for me on VIX 100, this is pretty much where when I stop my analysis. I like to take my time to take A+ setups. If I have missed the trade like this, it is already halfway. I'm just going to wait for price to come back at this support and wait for a reversal, or when price breaks the demand, then I'll know my next line of action. But yes, for this week, that's what I'll be watching out for on VIX 100. I'm waiting for price to come back at this support, and then I will make my decision. This is where the decision is going to be made. So for this week, that's what I'm going to be observing. But yes, this is the only entry you could be able to get. So during the week, just watch out for VIX 100 when it gets to this level, because right now it's not even giving us an opportunity to enter the market. It's just moving down without giving us opportunities to enter the market. All right, traders, that is how I do my weekly top-down analysis every week. That's it for this episode. If you did get something out of this episode, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next week. Thank you.